This is certainly not a series that is over, not by a long shot, but if you are on MFC, you are in a bad position. You are trying very difficult. You're trying very hard to get this momentum back, and you can, but it's going to take some work.
Yeah, we were talking a little bit before the break about the team fighting. I feel like that honestly is just the difference maker here. Endgame in these later game team fights has been just a step ahead of Endgame and the execution. Because I feel like draft-wise, trying to think about the drafts here, what is Endgame, what is Marketable Fan Community differently? And I don't even know if they would want to execute.
I see what you're saying. Like I have supported their team comps. The team comps from both teams have come out very well. But it's just, we might need to see a little bit of a shift in that to change strategies, because sometimes you need to get out of those bodies to get into a new mindset. So if that's what it's going to take for Fan Club to focus on something that's going to help, there it is. The Orn is finally removed.
Maybe that'll be the difference here, because if Orn was not on, maybe they outscale them just in the nick of time. So. And Vayne getting let through here, so that will be the pickup here for Makey off of the Ezreal. So definitely some changes. Caitlyn. Definitely some changes here in game number 3 as the series develops.
And that's what there needed to be. Lee Sin coming out for Zoom, a jungle, and that's definitely a lot different than we've seen before. Certainly a little more assassiny. Maybe they're looking to get some pick-offs in that lane to prevent the absolute 2 crushing snowballs we have seen from Bo. Who do you think he's going to pull out this time?
I honestly have no idea. We do see Mordekaiser banned once again here. Don't want to see that.
The Mordekaiser banned, but the Renekton left open.
Renekton left open here. Does pick Kassadin into that, so maybe Renekton could work here. Really just shut down Kassadin quite early.
And we're going to see if Fan Club decides to respond to that.
Also interesting to note that Troll the Noob has switched roles with Magic Knights and will be back on his support role. We have seen him on the majority of the season. And Magic Knights will be trying out the jungle here in game number 3. So there's definitely several adaptations here. Renekton ban coming out. So that is off Bo.
Yeah, don't blame him.
That was definitely pretty destructive early game, as well as later on in the team fights too. But
we are seeing our first change in bans from Endgame though, with the Thresh ban. Thresh had not been banned in any of these prior rounds, and Endgame actually changing up one of their bans to lock out the Thresh. I guess as to prevent the response to Pyke.
It also might be the role swap here between. They made no. Troll has played some Thresh games throughout the season, so definitely some good research and homework done here on the side of Endgame.
And another changed ban with the Leona ban coming out. So we are seeing Endgame is trying to lock out this last match. A Yorick comes up from Fan Club, and you know, I know you were talking about team fighting, and I agree, team fighting is very important. But Yorick says to me that we're looking for a true split push.
And also, an interesting switch here off of the Mundo, excuse me. My brain just completely froze. Hannah opting to switch it up here. Definitely was doing a good job getting to that tanky late game stage, but honestly was coming up short in the team fights as a collective, Marketable Fan Club. So maybe just looking for a little bit of a change of pace here with their comp and with their picks. Also, Lulu being locked in here, as we were saying, Chanters are definitely coming back, and Lulu Vayne is definitely very strong, especially moving into the mid lane. Slamiel once again getting Sejuani. Bo, looks like we'll actually be seeing Tristan Uh,
Stop, man.
not one of my personal favorite things to see, but lots of people like to whip it out as a sort of a cheesy. It's a cheesy, viable pick. We see some. I'm personally not a fan of it. Personally,
though at the same time, it is an interesting curveball. I was talking about how if you were on Fan Club, you might want to be changing up your strategy here after losing those first 2 rounds the way you did with Bo snowballing. This could be Endgame and maybe even Bo specifically's response to that. Guys, they are expecting me to go on that melee hyper carry. They are going to plan for it. They are going to build around it. Give me Triss. Give me the exact opposite. Throw him a loop.
and he may be able to honestly really be oppressive onto this Caston pretty early on with the range advantage as well. So
pretty true, and without being a magic user for Caston fight the way he does.
But I'm intrigued. You go ahead.
Though, you could go full cheese and try to build AP Triss.
AP Triss mid. Honestly, I don't even know how you build it. Might be AP. I should probably know that, but I don't. I don't know what the meta mid Triss build is.
To be honest, to my understanding, AP Triss was where basically only your ult does damage, and that's kind of it.
Probably won't be seeing that then. But definitely a different looking team here on the side of Mark Fan Club. Completely new picks, and
very.
Honestly, both of these teams I feel like are drafted pretty well, but I definitely am a fan of this new look from Mark Fan Club. I feel like we did see the bans coming through for Vayne in the first 2 games from Endgame. I feel like they may know something that we don't, that he might be pretty destructive on this Vayne pick, so that kind of intrigues me. We will be seeing him on that, as well as his Yorick and Lulu to back up the Vayne. It's definitely a completely different look.
Lulu not only to back up Vayne, but Kassadin, melee, Lee Sin, melee, Yorick, melee. That Lulu ultimate on almost any player here that is in the position they want is going to save their lives, cause massive disruption to endgame, and possibly win fights. Lulu has amazing synergy here if Markaveller's players get to fight where they want to fight.
And also, Vayne does very well in both Sejuani and Sion later game team fights. Definitely champs that Vayne has no problem just completely melting through the absolute. Obviously, aside from getting hit by the Sejuani stun ultimate. Aside from that, pretty easy to just completely go through 2 members. Obviously, as long as you're not behind.
Yeah, that is what's going to decide those matches, is whether Sion or Sejuani get their stun on Vayne before Vayne starts tearing into them with the Silver Bolt. That really is going to be a game of inches, especially with Tumble being a thing. If Vayne gets out of the way of those big maneuvers, then Vayne is going to cause a major headache for them. But if Vayne is stunned and dead, well, death is the hardest, CC. So
definitely, as a Vayne main myself, I'm just from personal experience from many games. As a Vayne here, you are wetting your lips here at the team you have to fight into from endgame, because you think of who's gonna kill you. Obviously, this is all assuming that you're either even. Who's gonna kill you? You think Sion's not gonna kill you. The only way you're really gonna die is if you get picked off by a Sejuani ultimate and somehow get all in by members. But who's all in you? Who's diving the backline here on endgame and killing Vayne? Pike, but then you got Lulu to help you out. So the thing is, like, that's why Lulu is so good for to be paired up with Vayne here. So really a great comp for Makey on this Vayne to be team fighting with later on in the game. But obviously, if you fall behind, completely different story.
No, I agree with you. It's if Vayne is in a position, if Makey on Vayne is in a position where he can't get caught, then he's gonna rip. If he does get caught, with all the CC and with the Pike to pull him out, speaking of...
Oh!
That flash. That was a perfect flash from Troll there. That would have been a cheesy first blood if it had not gone off. But you know,
already
a
Flash
nice
picked up
cheese. Like a good
Nice.
Havarti.
here. As opposed to what?
I don't know, like stale cheddar.
Dale cheddar.
Flash, apparently.
Flash picked up here early on here for Endgame, as they are looking to take down the sweep here in this series. Markable Fan Club trying to stay alive here, pushing to game number 4.
And this really is their chance. We are at the beginning. This is when everything's on the table. They are looking to take that early momentum. I would not be surprised if we see them push for a couple things here, unless they're really consciously waiting for that scale. It's going to be interesting to see if they go for the early advantage, which I would argue is not the best move for their comp, or if they wait for that scaling out of Vayne and Kassadin.
Oh, they do have Elise Sin, who is actually...
Speaking of these things, though, Lulu, without her Troll being grabbed by a hook, but Pyke eating a lot of damage in the process.
Also ganked mid lane there by Magic Knights. Bo just hitting level 2 exact second to get rocked.
And that rocket is going to be used against Witchblades on Kassadin, who has taken a lot of damage from the explosive charges here.
Have seen Magic Knights on Lee Sin a couple different times in the regular season. He's played a lot of different roles for this team, honestly.
But speaking of everything like that, Slamuel's looking for something in this bot lane, waiting for Pyke to get that hook. The flash hook, fling him over his shoulder.
Oh!
But it's a turnaround kill with the damage from Vayne and Lulu just taking Pyke down before anything can be made of it. However, in the mid lane, we see Bo aggressively jumping completely onto Witchblade's face and getting the kill with very little to spare. Okay, we've decided this is going to be a front-loaded match.
And Witchblades opted to take Ignite instead of Teleport, so we'll be missing out on a pretty big wave here early on. Pretty detrimental death right there.
Hannah catching little Gawa in that trap with a bunch of little Yorick ghouls pecking away at him. Little Gawa just lost over half of his health in that exchange. All lanes here firing on all cylinders. Just no one is willing to give an inch right now.
Also important to note that first blood did go on to, which is not ideal if you're a Mark Cabello fan club here. Would have been nice to get that early chunk of gold onto the Vayne, but gold on the Lulu is also good.
Yeah, but hey, if absolutely nothing else, you have secured it away from endgame. And
Also true.
Any advantage you can take away is an advantage in its own right.
Bo would have picked up that first blood goal, which made this deficit even more difficult for Witchblades. Magic Knight's hovering here mid lane. Not really sure he's going to be able to get much up, as well as rocket jump on Tristana. Pretty difficult lane to gank.
Well, and it's going to get even more complicated when that Tristana hits 6. Speaking of rocket jump, flinging it to get a full charge onto Witchblades here. And already that explosive charge at 5 stacks is getting a bit scary.
Yeah, Witchblade's down 2 levels there. Bo taking good advantage of that level up, jumping in and getting a good trade.
Starting to position for the first dragon here, and it looks like we're going to start with a Cloud Drake. And I'd say that this Cloud Drake is a very important one with that cooldown reduction. We've got a few critical ults on both sides, like Sejuani and Lulu. Heck, even Lee Sin kick. The more that happens, the more picks you can get from it. Ooh.
I'm really intrigued to see Makey on this Vayne.
Farrell getting exceptionally low here, taking a good tumble shot from Makey, who is now deciding to back out. Looks like they're going to let that lane sit in an about even position. Wonder what they're hunting for. Ah, grabbing some potions, and Lulu with the early Forbidden Idol. That's gonna keep them in the lane a lot.
CS numbers pretty even across the board except for top lane. Lagawa's got himself 10 CS advantage up there already. Actually, mid lane a little bit of a CS advantage. Bow and bot lane. Not... Maybe I just completely misread all this because honestly they're pretty different.
Ooh, I like this explosive pick from Bo, trying to get some free explosive damage from using the bigger range from the placing your bomb on the turret, and then walking out before Magic Knights was able to catch him out on Lee Sin too. And positioning to Dragon, no less.
Endgame looking to take this early Drake. We do see the bot lane almost roaming up from Mark Cabello fan club, but
decided to leave it alone, which means this first Cloud Drake should safely go to endgame.
And not all I can really do anyways, because Joe's kind of guarding Magic Knights being on the top side.
Looks like Styles and Bo waiting for a misstep that isn't going to come out of Kassadin here, as Kassadin decides to just leave.
Endgame has just put so much focus on this mid lane in this entire series.
They really have. They have just decided that Bo was going to be their basket, and the eggs are going in it. So remind me, does oh, hang on, ask a minute. Looks like Magic Knights is coming in for a gank against a very gone Little Gawa.
Yeah, it just pops that ult, gets right out of the way.
But what I was going to ask was actually about Little Gawa. Does killing Yorick's little pet ghoul guys, does that give you creep score or just gold?
I would imagine it does.
That, in fact, might be why that advantage is coming up there.
Oh, bot lane.
Oh, quick stun coming out on Troll to Noob. Oh no, the Caitlyn trap! Sealing their fate. I thought they were going to get to step away. Even I didn't see that trap sitting there. The flash hook is not going to land, but the flash net will, and death sentence by snipe.
Yeah, Mark Cabello fan club started going pretty aggressive there with a minion wave in enemy minion wave, as well as Feral Hogs being level 6. Makey and Trollanu both still level 5. A little bit of a questionable bit of aggression there.
I have got to agree. Unfortunately, this is not the start the fan club was looking for, with a 2,000 gold league. No, more like 1.5. Already starting to develop on endgame's side, and Bo putting massive pressure on the mid lane as well, using the explosive range from that charge I was talking about, placing it on the turret to just bully Magic Knight, Witchblades, excuse me, on Kassadin under his own tower with that range. This is definitely shaking out in an interesting manner. The one thing I would say they might have right now is that Little Gawa is pushing Hannah around a bit, and I think that Hannah's ghouls might be just mostly giving Little Gawa more gold. So if this Scion can get to the point of getting ults coming in to kind of get that weird gank-like team fight, or just using teleport roams, that could help swing. Actually, excuse me. Little Gawa is also on endgame, and I'm going to be quiet now.
Nonsense. All good. We do see Magic Knights now coming into this bot lane. Will not be spotted out by any. Bone Skewer hitting the cannon minion there.
Troll being purposefully tasty.
Trying to bait in that. We do see Slamuel is in the area though. If Scout would be quick to join, as maybe looking for a gank himself. This would be very devastating.
In fact, I think this is about to turn into a 3v3 situation as the Q is landed. The kick is almost failed. Polymorph comes out, and there goes Caitlyn down. The ult's about to trigger. Boom! No stuns. Interesting. And that's going to be a completely profitable trade for Fan Club. Whoa! Excuse me, never mind. Bo had other ideas.
Bo just absolutely destroying in this series.
I don't know if my camera was the only one that had gone there, but the 5th charge detonation on Witchblades, I am not exaggerating, dealing about 75% of his total health in one blast.
Does have that BF sword as well as 2 Dorn's blades.
And it looks like Bo is going to take an entire set of turret plates.
Yeah, Bo
and
definitely.
Little Gawa picking up a couple of their own. This is not the position you want to be in as Yorick, or in general as Fan Club.
Goldie just about 1700. Makey maybe in a bad spot here. Ultimate not available from Sejuani, but does not seem to matter. Flashes down on Makey.
The temporary invisibility's barely stalling out his life, but that's going to be a double pickup for endgame. And now, goodness gracious, I'm actually not exactly sure the order of operations there, but it looks like the end result is that endgame is going to pick up a 4-for-1 trade and the dragon.
Silver lining here for Martinsville Fan Club. Blades did get that shutdown onto Bo, but Farrell getting a triple kill, definitely bad news for Martinsville.
And this was Hannah's one little chance to get some split pushing in while there was fighting going on, but unfortunately, Gawa with that teleport still available, able to put a stop to most of that as well, didn't even pick up a tower plate. And that is going to be a with plating first turret for endgame here. As Little Gawa bullies Hannah under their own top tier tower.
Do you see Magic Knights here up in this top side, but Joe?
Oh, yes, I do.
Flash coming out from Little Gawa. Probably will be enough to get away.
Enough? Yep. Little Gawa just walking away with their Scion health bar.
Witchblade's able to get some
Oh,
pushing down
Bo
here,
going aggressive here on 2 people, but underestimating the value of Polymorph as Makey takes ult coming down on Makey to try to save his life, but he's stunned by Sejuani. Shield is in though, and the health is keeping him alive. But no, the summoner heal comes down, saving Feral Hogs, leaving Troll Danube alone versus Samuel and getting headshot by Feral Hogs. I actually thought Makey and Feral Hogs were going to take that fight. It looked really good for them.
And Makey was able to get that last tumble off before that damage was coming through. I think they end up taking that one down, but not quite enough. Witchblade's getting hit by that bone skewer there, but
pulling him to
safe for the moment.
Safety.
Witchblade's going in here. Oh my goodness, that damage coming off the arrow.
Getting a major AoE pulse there, I will not deny that, but just too much CC and too many damage sources. Maybe shouldn't have gone that close.
So we did see Magic Knight's taking down that Herald in his back, and now Flash up. Very healthy.
Kick to reposition Little Gawa as Hannah comes in, lands the gonna slow Little Gawa down, but he's just so tanky.
Damage coming in from those ghouls there and Maiden, but as you're saying, man, there's too much HP. We do see Joe coming up as well. In case any dive attempt is made, Herald is being popped.
Oh, that Herald's going to be very painful. Joe getting spotted by walking too close with his camouflage. Gets a hook on Lee Sin, but I don't know that they're in a position to do much about it. With the Herald tanking the tower for free. The turret goes down, but it gives them the opening to get a wall on Little Gawa. Little Gawa burns to the floor, and that passive is just going to kind of be a frustration. Will burn up Yorick's ult a lot, though.
He's taking his frustration out on that Maiden a little. That
was an important pickup for Mark Cabello, they needed somewhere on the map that they had more control. With that mid turret down being the only turret down at the time in the game, that is a massive loss of map control and safe routes. But by taking out something somewhere, they open up a window to maybe cause a misstep or apply pressure in this game.
Endgame definitely looking pretty strong here in game number 3, though. Trying to make this a clean 3-0 sweep.
And you know they're pushing for it.
Markable Fan Club definitely has some scaling on their side. Witchblades once again looks like he is caught out and will be falling.
Well, he was almost caught out, and Cassadin could have saved him if anything but Bone Spear happened.
$4,000 gold lead now acquired here for Endgame.
And that is not a good position to be in at 16 minutes. It has, unfortunately for Fan Club, felt like the lead has gotten out of control more quickly in each game we've played.
Magic Knight doesn't know Slamuel is down here. Those could be bad. Oh, another good...
Magic Knight's jumping in. And
shut down there onto Feral. Or, Makey. That's big. That is really big for Markable Fan Club. I believe it was 700 gold shot.
Hey, take it when you can get it. Any gold you get is good gold.
Did trade the Lulu back over, but that's definitely...
Yeah,
maybe another kill here.
Oh, there could be. No, Pike's gonna dash away.
Red buff on Vayne here.
Oh, Magic Knights has spotted him out.
Here.
Condemn.
Condemn.
Oh, the explosive shot! And the Pike dive sealing everybody's fate and giving out their cut. So, unlike that first blood on Lulu, Pike getting those kills does not deny his team much of anything.
Yeah, Pike coming in really clutch there, saving the life of his teammate, Bo.
And that's going to be the Ocean Drake, most likely? Yes, okay.
Up pretty far here.
Troll Danube coming in, making me think that they might be trying to position for something.
But check top lane.
Oh,
Hannah.
This is Yorick.
TP is just now coming up on Lilgawa.
I think it's too late, though. That tower's going to melt too fast to a Yorick.
Definitely too late. Tower falling here. Rotation.
And those are the kinds of trades. Oh. Ooh. Witchblades barely escaping with his life after Bo barely escaped with their own. In an Ignite for Stasis exchange. That explosion probably could have killed Witch Knights with the damage we've been seeing from it before. But Bo very low. The flash ult becoming a waste as Feral comes from below and just snipes him out in 2 quick shots.
Just baited right there by Bo with that low health bar.
Bo with the tasty 10% health and just the confidence to use it too.
Meanwhile, bot lane Makey just farming up some more. Gonna maybe get this turret down. We do see Joe here along with many members.
Down first. The question is if Makey's going to escape with his life. Oh, the perfect tumble to dodge the Bone Spear. But Slamuel coming in, putting huge pressure on Slamuel, burning his health bar down. But here comes Bo from the outside. Explosive shot and a Pike ult sealing his fate. And that might be end of Troll Danube, but with Flash, maybe he has enough movement speed to get away. Wow, the interruption on the Pike ult there, not causing the death. And Magic Knight's coming in to say, let's just stop this chase before it gets any worse.
And Makey was able to do so much damage already. Vayne, it was just too many members from Endgame to be able to go through. That was a 4v2. Then they kind of almost won until Bo showed up.
You are completely correct. If Makey had any more cover there, and not to say that Lulu didn't do her job, she did. All the skills are coming out protecting Vayne. But if there had been one more member, even just one, peeling or helping Vayne get the finishes, that would have been a very, very different fight.
And Makey still has not even finished the 2-item power spike you get on Vayne now. Has the Bork, but does not have quite finished the Goonsu's Rage Blade. But that will be coming in very shortly, so even more power soon to come here on this Vayne.
So Makey already terrifying, and we're seeing now Little Gawa refusing a bit harder to leave that top lane after they've been reminded that Hannah is in fact playing Yorick, and maybe leaving him alone isn't a good idea. However, we're about to see some explosions happening here as Bo takes out Magic Knights with some help from his team with a quick explosive shot.
Oh, nice bow skewer.
Position trade. Cassidy tries to get back over the wall, takes down Pipe before he's finished, but Feral Hogs comes in with the long-range kill, and this could be a Baron.
Yeah, getting the shutdown there onto Joe, but 2 members now down for 1. And Endgame definitely looking to take this Baron. No vision at all on the side of Mark Cabello fan club around this objective.
Yeah, they might not even know it's happening. And if they don't realize soon, it's too late. There goes the Baron. That is in a 21-minute Baron for Endgame, as we have Gawa here rushing it on the ultimate, and never mind.
Also, something that Mark Cabello fan club deal with in just about a minute is this 4th Drake.
Oh, that is true. And with us
Soul.
once again in the Ocean's Rift, that's going to be some major sustain on a team that otherwise doesn't have much. And with the tanky members of Sion and Sejuani as champions, that's going to be a big deal.
I think you might just have to let this go, too, if you're Martin Cabello fan club. You're really not trying to take this fight and lose the soul. So if that happens, your hopes of winning this game just excessively drop. You just want to probably just give up the soul and hopefully get a more power spike coming through on this Vayne cast.
And honestly, you're desperate to at this point. Endgame is up by a whole 9,000 gold at 20 minutes. This is the definition of back to the wall. There's not much more at this stage of a game that could be happening to put Micah any further back to last stand territory here.
Yeah, fan club needs to come up with pretty quickly, or even just stall this out longer without losing.
But unfortunately, right now they just have too many threats to deal with. As with neither, they got caught in the middle for too long, and there were a lot of important things going on. It was a hard decision to make, but one that they had to make.
Yeah, Mark Cabello fan club is now committing lots of members to this top side, but meanwhile, bot lane, huge push going on. 4 members bot for endgame. They need to get back and rotate right now.
And Little Gawa still isn't down. That health bar is just so huge, and now with the passive coming up, they can't turn around and immediately back because Little Gawa can just stop them. This is going to be an inhibitor turret.
And these are those macro kind of mistakes that we've been seeing from Mark Cabello fan club in these later states of the game that have really crippled their chances. They're kind of hanging close, not so much in this game, pretty big deficit, but pretty big macro mistake there and free inhib. And
that's not just an inhib. They did trade Little Gawa's life, but they got Ocean Drake, Ocean Soul, Tower Inhib, and a top tower. Now they've taken a middle tower too. They've taken 6 things for 1 life.
And a lot of that you might say, all right, well, Endgame's going to end up getting a lot anyways because of their huge advantage and the Baron buff, but definitely I feel like some of that could have been negated or at least stalled.
And then stall is exactly what isn't happening here. This game is still burning at Endgame's pace as... Sorry, I had to take a second to laugh at Styles just hanging around to pop like 4 different wards that came out and create all these zombies. But no, this is the best situation you could hope for. One of the best situations you could hope for at 25 minutes if you are on Endgame. And if you are on Fan Club, there is desperate discussion. What do we do? How do we hold this?
But we do have the completed Goonsus Rageblade now on Makey. Huge power spike. 2-item power spike here for Vayne. So if they can find a good team fight or just an advantageous pick, definitely could come back in this game still. We do see
But
Magic Knights
I'm
getting hit by
afraid
that bone skewer. Bo
They
jumping
might not
in.
be able to get it if Magic Knights falls here, but it's a little bit of help from the team. He's able to jump out. That could have been the end.
That also could have been a great pick situation for Mark Bell fan club, but they have no vision in this jungle. They had no idea where the rest of the members were from endgame.
No, Endgame is in complete control of this map. There is nothing that Fan Club has other than their base platform that Endgame does not know about.
Yeah, they may have been able to pick off a member or two there, but the rest of endgame could have been right behind us, and they have no idea.
Nope. And unfortunately, it's gotten so bad that they can't even get out. Here we're seeing Tristana with that excellent siege, putting the charges on the tower again and attacking it from such long range. Tristana already at level 14 at 26 minutes is reaching tower range here.
Oh my goodness!
Gosh, that bone spear into a Tristana trap. Excuse me, a Caitlyn trap. And another one coming out on top of the stasis. That was masterful and buys them a quick inhibitor. This could be the end. That numbers advantage could be all the end game needed to push through to the end, but it looks like they're going to go for the triple inhibitors.
Yeah, definitely triple inhibs here. Quite the wombo there. If that was calculated, quite well executed.
That's not Star Fox. I didn't even say it right.
The siege for the base are coming in. Silent Ult being popped here will land onto Hannah. Taking lots of damage from these turrets, though, will be polymorphed here. Zani's coming in from Witchblade, but will be popped as soon as he comes unvulnerable. Hannah now going way too deep, taking lots of damage.
But getting Lulu ulted, not buying enough time.
Fakie now trying to go and do some damage, but it is too little too late. The focus is now onto him. Magic Knight's going in, trying to do something to salvage his team fight, but Joe now going deep, landing the execute, and now Troll, the only standing member left, onto Mark Bell Fan Club, and Endgame will have no problem taking down these turrets, taking down the Nexus,
and taking down the semifinals. This was Endgame's series from game one. Fan Club had their chances. There were openings. They had to play, but they just didn't have enough of it. Endgame clinching a perfect 3-0 sweep, and in game three, losing only outer towers. This was their day. And sometimes there's just nothing you can do about it when it is someone's day.
Yeah, definitely well executed here. Well executed series here, honestly, by Endgame. They definitely, I feel like we were saying in the first two games that the difference was really in the team fighting, and I feel like that was very true. But also, I feel like the macro, just the clean macro decisions from Endgame, they were just good enough, and Markable Fan Club was just having kind of trouble dealing with them as well. They gave up a lot of advantages through some questionable macro decisions, especially in the first two games. In the third game here, a little bit as well, but they were dealing with a pretty huge deficit, so a little bit harder to deal with in the third game. But between the team fighting and the macro, definitely well played here by Endgame.
Extremely well played by Endgame, using every advantage they found, controlling that map, as you were saying, and just not leaving any openings for people to take that control back. Very, very clean, very well planned, and very well coordinated and executed by the shot callers and players.
For sure, we definitely saw very strong performances here from Bo and Feral Hogs, as well as, especially in the first two games, Slammill was very effective there in the jungle, getting some leads, especially in that game number one where Bo was just a complete monster on the.
Goodness gracious, that doesn't even begin.
Mordekaiser.
That Bo in both of those matches, in the final game too, but particularly game one and game two, it was just Bo's playground.
We are trying to get an interview here with a member of Endgame in just a moment. We'll be getting an interview here with Slamuel, the team captain for Endgame, in just a moment or two. Since he has joined us now, Slamuel, how are you feeling after this decisive victory with 3-0?
It's pretty good. Going into it, like we saw what Iron Dragon did yesterday too. So we're like, all right, let's try and come out hot here. Plus, after the game one, everybody's like, oh man, a best of 5. We're going to be here for a while if we don't close it out quick.
For sure, you guys definitely managed to do so, though. You guys seem to put lots of resources into this mid lane throughout the series. Was that something you guys planned going in, or just something that ended up working out that way?
Yeah, it just happened to be like a lot of favorable matchups. So like games 1 and 3, when Pharaoh gets Caitlyn, like I don't really have to go down there at all because I think they've won pretty much most lanes that they have the Caitlyn in. He just outranges everything and it goes really well. So then that leaves me top and mid. And Gao was great because he can just like literally that man is up on an island. I think I ganked him once in the whole 3 games, but that's fine. So yeah, no, it's just really like right there, it was just about getting Bo ahead, and it worked out. Blue flashes early in 2 games, and repeat ganks got him kills.
Yeah, he definitely did a great job there in game number 1, getting him ahead on that Mordekaiser. Another question here on the bot lane. In game number 2, we did see Pharaoh get banned off of both Aphelios and Caitlyn. Was he feeling comfortable on the Ashe? I know he looked very good, but was that something you guys were worried about at all, or has he got that big champion pool?
No, I mean Ashes is. I would say. I mean, like, yeah, obviously he wants the other 2, but no, Ashe he's very comfortable with. I don't know if you guys were talking about it, but like we screwed up massively, so we just assumed that everybody bans Pyke. So like they didn't even ban him the first rotation, and then like literally we're doing second bans, and then Pyke gets banned, and we're like, we're all idiots, guys. Like, how do we miss this? But yeah, no, I mean like he's really good on the Ashe, and like I think their first 3 picks was the Leo. I can't remember, but it was like a Leo and a Trundle. I know it was a Leo Trundle. I forget who the third. It was an Echo. So like him picking the Ashe, it's still fine. Like yeah, they have the Leo ult to get on him, but again, like they have to get through our front line to get to him, and that's like kind of where we try and take late games. Is just keep Pharaoh alive.
Well, with this victory over Marketable Fan Club, you do advance to the finals where you will face off against Iron Dragon next Sunday.
Dun, dun,
How do you
dun.
feel about this series?
It'll definitely be good. I mean, the All-Star weekend, you had us all split up. So I mean, we got a feel for a little bit of the comms of their guys, how they play. So not too much, but it was still all right. But I mean, like no, like I mean, they're all really really good players. Like the first time we played them too, I remember going back watching like a lot of the film, looking at the team comps, being like, okay, I think this is what they're gonna do. And then they picked like Poppy, Leona, and like some other like slow mid laner, and it was like nothing they'd ever done before, and it really threw us off. So yeah, the best of 5s is definitely going to be our best chance at beating them. But yeah, no, I mean, we looked really good today, and I mean everybody's playing really well, so we'll see what happens.
You guys definitely did. Congratulations on this victory, and best of luck in the finals.
Thanks, guys. See you later.
All right. Well, I also would like to congratulate Bo on being the player of the series. He's played very well, especially on that. Honestly, in all the games, but the first game on that Mordekaiser was just completely oppressive and well executed.
Very on brand for Mordekaiser.
For sure. So congratulations to Bo, as well as the rest of Endgame. That is going to wrap it up here for the broadcast today. Once again, don't miss the finals between Iron Dragon and Endgame next Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. It's going to be a hell of a series.
I mean, how could you miss a series between this team and Iron Dragons? Come on.
My thoughts exactly. So definitely make sure to check that out. Also, a huge thank you again to CCO for the subs earlier. Huge thanks for him. But unless Nilix has anything else to add?
I think you've covered most of it, man. I mean, we don't know what else is going to happen until we see those finals next week.
All right. So once again, congratulations to Endgame, and we will see you all next week for the finals. Have a great rest of your weekend.
See ya.